Welcome to the Voncast show. It's recording. Cool. Today I have guest Nathalie. You were here. We had a podcast here like a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So hello, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here.
No problem. Thanks for driving all the way out from
Ventura.
Ventura. It's a far drive, traffic. So we talked about it a while back, but you want to talk about interracial relationships?
Okay, interracial relationships. I know it may sound like the thing of the past, with like the issues of segregation. I know I'm going back with history.
That's cool.
But now I believe it's more of a challenge, not so much an issue, but more of a challenge, especially for American-born people of color,
Right.
those that are Asian American, Latino American, and all that. The main issue would be culture.
Yes.
As depending if your family is very, very traditional in a lot of aspects, especially if you come from an Asian family. There are some Asian families that are very hardcore about who you marry, and it's very interesting because they're so involved in your relationships.
Really?
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm not just saying, like East Asian or all that. I mean, I could include Indian families. I can include families from the Middle East as well. I've had some experience where race was definitely a concern for the family, not so much the person I was dating. So that's also one thing that could be problematic for someone that was born in the U.S. They want to bring someone home that's not to the liking of their parents. Right. I know, like, when we think about that, for some people that don't come from traditional families, they worry, oh, is my parent going to like them? Are they going to get along? But with parents that are so traditional and, their first generation, it's like, are they going to approve of them? Are they going to respect them enough? Are they not going to say anything racist or demeaning?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one perfect example, when I was in college, I was dating this guy. He's Persian, and we were dating for a bit, and it was the moment where he decided to introduce me to his dad. And no joke, first time meeting him, he was already upset. He looked at him, and then he looked at me, and then he kind of just looked at him for a while and told him, hey, she's not Persian. Why did you bring her here?
Whoa.
At first he said it in his own language, because of course he's not going to say it in front of me. So at least he had the decency to not let me know that he was talking shit. But then, the guy I was dating had to tell me, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. You wouldn't think that kind of stuff happens until it happens to you, and then you're like, well, what do I do now? And he had a sister, and she was also like very skeptical of me because, again, I wasn't Persian or anything. I'm like, hey, I'm Mexican. Right. Just so everyone knows, I'm Mexican, full-blooded Mexican. I checked on 23andMe.
Oh, cool.
Full-blooded Mexican.
Nice.
It's like, I'm like, okay, that was odd. I hope that never happens again. And I know better not to say that, because I tend to date outside of my race. And I mean, my family was really okay about it. They were just also very weary because, one, they didn't speak Spanish. I think that's the main thing about, wanting to date someone who comes from a Mexican or Latino household. You have to know Spanish. Otherwise, everyone's just going to make fun of you, and that's just the easiest thing that they can do. So, it was an eye-opener.
Yeah, I mean, I think us growing up here with the Western values, you think it doesn't matter, right? I mean, like, you see everyone be together. You see couples who are interracial in high school, middle school, college, or whatever. It's interesting you say that, because with my family, some of them, the first thing they ask is, "Oh, what's her name? What's her race?" I'm not going to go into it, but there are certain ethnic groups where if I say that, what? Not in a bad way, but it's just, there is a lot of, I guess it's the older generation. They do have like not beef, but like resentment towards a particular group of other Asians because of what they did in the past.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, if I don't know. If like I don't know. I don't want to go into detail.
It's very alarming. I know you don't want to go into detail, but I did have a boyfriend who is Korean,
Mm-hmm.
and he was here like on a student visa or something. But just first meeting him, you assume, hey, he was born here or something like that, because he immersed himself, in the American culture.
Mm-hmm.
And one day he was like, hey, like let's go see a movie, and I'm like, cool, what American movie are we going to see?
Right.
I thought we were going to see like Spider-Man or Star Wars or
Yeah.
whatever. And he took me to K-Town, and it was one of those like historic but modern, Korean films. And it was about the time when South Korea and Japan were at war with each other. And I like how the movie just tries to make the Japanese look like savages and things like that. And he pretty much explained it to me like, yeah, like there's this old like generational beef, and I can see how it could kind of be passed down. But it's interesting because we all live here, we all live together. I mean, if you were to go to any university campus, whether it's CSUN or UCLA, everyone's pretty much cool with each other. You would think because it's so diverse that, everyone's going to get along and, hey, we're dating, things are going to go really well. But when it comes to going home and meeting the family, it's just like even a huge culture shock,
right.
Where you already know, hey, this family's not going to approve of me, and I probably have to jump hurdles to prove that, hey, I'm worthy of your son or daughter. But you realize you're not supposed to jump hurdles, you're supposed to swim. Right. So it's like it's kind of scary. It's like very, I wouldn't say it's stressful, but you get a little anxious when you meet a family that's completely different than yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a big culture background or a cultural difference. My dad was one of the first in my family to marry outside of Filipinos. I remember it was a white woman, and my family was cool with it because my grandma remarried a white person. But you get little jokes here and there, like, oh, like you're whitewashing, and they're from like my cousins and stuff, and they'd ask, oh, so how is it like being raised? I'm like, normal, because I don't know anything else. Yeah. So there's that confusion, but now, I mean, super accepted now. If anything, I think I see a lot of Mexicans and Filipinos getting along just because the culture is so similar.
Oh yeah, because the Spanish invaded both of us.
The Catholicism, the conservativeness, So you're with someone you're married. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
To someone who's Chinese, right?
Yes, he's Chinese. His family is from Hong Kong, and I know that they all speak Cantonese. And funny thing about him in particular, yes, he's Chinese. He did live in Hong Kong for a while, but he pretty much, immersed himself in American society, as did I. And he is the whitest Asian I've ever met. He's so into country music. He likes hiking, fishing. He's all pro Second Amendment, all that kind of stuff. I mean, of course, you don't have to be a particular race to like anything. Right. But you can pretty much tell when someone isn't so influenced by their own culture. And they just act American. I don't say act white. I just say act American.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. I think. Did you watch Hey Arnold?
Yes.
Remember that episode where the Asian neighbor, he is a country singer?
Yes.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Did you see the Vietnam American
I cried. That one made me cry.
Me
it was
too.
So sad.
I forget exactly what happened. I don't want to watch it because I'll cry again. But I know he has a daughter.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Yeah. I thought that character was Korean, but then when I went back and saw that episode again, he's actually Vietnamese. So I'm thinking, oh, it was during the Vietnamese War, and I was like, yo, that's so dark and deep, and it's very surprising that like the 90s cartoons kind of got away with that, and we don't see that anymore.
You know, the 90s cartoons got away with a lot. Ren and Stimpy.
Yes.
Beavis and Butthead, but that wasn't really for kids.
Yeah.
South Park. Daria, but yeah, no, it's interesting. Like, it's the cultural difference, and that's cool that your boyfriend likes. You know, I think it has to be like. I think it's cool that like Asians can like country and not be judged for it. Because Asians can like country music, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because everyone, you must like hip hop. Oh, you like country? What the heck? No, do your thing. You know, if that's where you grew up, if that's what you surround yourself with, that's you. That's your Asian American identity. You don't have to be like, oh, super Asian. Dude, you're Asian American. Your identity is your identity. You don't have to like conform. Oh, I have to do this and that. Even though Asian American studies, doesn't matter. You're Asian American.
Yeah, there's really more to you than your own history and your own customs. I mean,
it's cool to know.
I can say that about Latinos all I want. You know, it's like one thing I think for me that I guess makes me stand out, or just kind of keeps me apart from the rest of my community, is I cannot stand Mexican food. I know that's really weird.
No, not at all.
You know, like I know people go nuts over like tacos and all that stuff and enchiladas. It's like I can't. I mean, but I do like pozole and chilaquiles and all that stuff, but only if my mom makes it, and that's pretty much it. But I don't know why. Like,
because you grew up on it, maybe.
I did grow up on it, but it's here. The thing is, like, so did everyone else, and they still love it. But for me, it's like the moment I moved here to Northridge is when I discovered my real love, which is Asian food.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, again, with like Indian food and Korean, Vietnamese, and now dim sum. It's like I love that shit. It's just so delicious.
Did you go to A&W a lot here?
A&W?
Seafood? It's dim sum.
Oh,
dim sum in
no.
a certain, I think from 11, like early in the morning to like early afternoon is dim sum.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I discovered dim sum when I started dating my husband. And he would just take me to like West Covina, Alhambra, like that area, and like that's the epicenter of dim sum, and I love it so much because nothing excites me more than seeing those old cart ladies walking around, and I'm like, yo, over here, like I'm just so excited.
Do you eat chicken feet?
Yes.
Really? I've never had it. It's in my culture too, Filipino culture. Yeah. What does it taste like?
It's hard.
Is it like more bony? Is it soft?
It depends though. It depends when you get it. It's I mean, I can't eat it that much because like I just can't eat hard food. Yeah. But it's pretty good.
Interesting. Maybe I should try it. I've tried intestines before and it was decent.
I can't do intestines. Too gummy.
Yeah, you know when I went to Chinatown, I had it like it wasn't fried. It was like steamed, so it was like this fatty like chewing substance. So I took a shot after.
Yeah.
But dim sum's good. I don't know the names. I just like they offer something. I get it.
Yeah.
Like the pork shumai.
Oh yeah.
Pork shumai.
It's my go-to.
The flan.
The flan.
The like it's like a yellow on the inside. I'm partially colorblind. It's like gold on the inside.
Oh, it's
the crust.
Oh, it's the egg tart. Yeah.
Egg tart's right.
Yeah. No,
egg tart's good.
Yeah, the egg tart.
The pork spares is good.
I mean, there's a hagao. There's the shrimp dumpling.
Damn. Okay. Damn, busting it out. Yeah.
Well, that's how I learned my Cantonese by ordering food.
Hagao. That's good.
Yeah. Definitely try the jellyfish. I know it looks gummy, but when you eat it, there's like this like soft crunch to it, and I think it's pretty good.
I don't think they offered it at A&W. I need to go to more like dim sums on West Covina and SGV.
Yes, you need to go to the Disneyland of dim sum.
Disneyland of dim sum, I like that.
Yeah.
So, you and your partner, you've been going out for obviously a while.
Yeah.
And your parents said they were cool with, when you brought him home?
Well, because, I come from a single family home, I had to meet my mom, and well, for her, she was more concerned with if he's nice, if he's employed, and all that.
Things moms worry about.
Yeah, things that moms mostly worry about. You know, it didn't matter to her much if he knew Spanish, if he was Latino, or anything like that. Oh, he's been learning.
Yeah,
he's been learning, and you know, it was pretty mellow. You know, she was getting to know him. I mean, thank God there was no language barrier, so they could definitely have a conversation, and that was great. However,
yeah, tell me about the other side.
On the other side, it was kind of tricky because he was not only raised by his mother and his father, he was raised by his aunts, and from what I noticed with a lot of families is, you know, they're all very like close, they're very tight.
Yes.
And especially with his family, all his aunts pretty much had a role in his childhood. And his mom is very sweet and she's amazing, God bless her. She was very, very accepting of me. And, you know, because they're so used to him also dating outside his race.
Oh, okay.
But they're still just not completely accepting because, you know, they have their own beliefs and all that stuff. And his aunts kind of had a very interesting response to when we started dating to when we got engaged. And of course, some of them would say, I know I'm calling them out, some would say, well, she's not Chinese, she doesn't speak Cantonese, you know, find a Chinese girl that can speak Cantonese. And they would tell him that. And then one of them would tell him, oh, these Mexican girls always have kids, they just want to find a guy who will take care of their child and pay for them.
Can I defend that? Can I?
Go ahead, yeah, don't worry about it.
Because the thing is with that is, it's a religious thing. A lot of them don't use contraceptives because they're hardcore Catholic, and Catholics don't really support contraceptives back then. Now, I don't know how it is now, but I just want to say that when people say, oh, Mexican girls get pregnant easily, no, it's because they probably don't use condoms and because of their faith and they don't want to use birth control. So I just want to put it out there that you gotta stop bashing Latino women because they're fucking hot. So get off my hands, feel me? So,
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a silly generalization because, well, for one, they never asked me these personal things. I feel like it's not just a cultural thing. I think it's more of a, hey, we're all human beings. We know how to communicate. They know English pretty well, but I don't want to bring out like my ghetto Latina. I just want to like tone it down right now because I don't want to get too fired up. And you know, they're just saying, oh, because I worked with someone who's Latino, they act this way. They seem kind of sneaky and blah blah blah. I think they were just trying to kind of advise him, like, hey, be careful, you know, if this person is trying to use you or anything like that. And I totally understand that, but I feel like there was just a different way to say that. Say, hey, I care about you, you're my nephew, I just want to make sure that she's an okay girl, right? But no, they went racial on that, and I thought it was pretty funny. And yes, there is a huge language barrier because every time we do go out to these awesome restaurants, they all speak Cantonese. They all talk amongst themselves in Cantonese and things like that. Sometimes I don't ask my husband to translate, or, you know, eventually I kind of get what they're talking about, but not really. But, you know, I do get along with some of the aunts because some of them do speak English and things like that. But they're all really cool.
Yeah.
As far as like the whole language barrier thing, it's not a main concern.
No, you can learn.
Yeah, I Cantonese is goddamn difficult to learn. It's so hard to learn because the thing about learning any Asian language, the key is like the vowel sounds, like the motion of this, like the sounds, like if I say, let's see, what's one good word?
Ni
Oh
hao?
my god,
Is that Mandarin?
that's Mandarin.
What? Shay?
No, it's also
Well,
Mandarin.
okay, well, I don't know Cantonese.
It's crazy how I know this. It's like I'm Mexican, and it's crazy how I know this.
You're the Cantonese person.
Yeah,
So you know.
I mean, I have involved myself with the Asian community enough to know a few basic words. But it's like if I say something like, what's a good word? Oh my god, because all I know is like food in Cantonese or. But it's like these vowels like up and down and like kind of drags out a bit. That's usually how Cantonese is, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna help my husband learn Spanish, and that's just easier on him.
Yeah. So, like, what questions were you tired of hearing? We went through, I guess, a little bit, but. What questions are you tired of hearing when you're bringing on like people that are of different ethnicities or?
I feel like, I feel like, when it comes to ethnicity, there is apparently a ticking clock, there's a time for a lot of things.
Yeah.
So for my husband, he's already in his 30s. And to some Asians, that's already too old.
Really?
And what I mean by that is he's supposed to have kids now.
Yeah.
And they have asked him about that. This is one thing that really gets me heated. It doesn't have to be an Asian thing, doesn't have to be a Latino thing, doesn't even have to be an American thing. What bothers me the most is people will ask the husband when he's ready to have kids.
Right.
They don't ask the wife, the person that will have the damn thing inside them for 9 months, if they're ready to have a child. And I'm beginning to find it a bit more personal because, who is anyone to say that we are supposed to have children on their time? I mean, what about us? Like, what are we going through? Yeah. And I feel me at 27, I feel like I'm still too young, even though all of my siblings already have kids. I mean, even my younger sister has like 3 kids already.
How old is she?
She's 26, so I'm 27. She already has 3 kids. And, of course, in Latino culture, you have kids whenever. But it's completely normal where people ask you, oh, do you have kids? They don't ask you, when are you having kids? They just ask you if you have kids already.
Yeah. I think there's a negative stigma too. Like, if a woman gets to a certain age and she doesn't have kids, like, why don't you have kids? There must be like something wrong with you or something. And it's really upsetting because I like to think, like, are we put on this earth to like repopulate? Is that? I mean, sure, we're animals. In the end of the day, we're mammals or whatever we're supposed to, but we have a higher conscience. What if we don't want kids? There's nothing wrong with that. I think I went through something similar where, I have a aunt and uncle. My uncle just got married. Youngest uncle. He's younger than me because remarriage and stuff.
Oh yeah.
He's a year younger, and at the wedding, my grandpa sent me and said, "Hey, so, he got married, and your aunt's married. Your aunt is getting like, they got engaged recently. The aunt did. It's like, what about you?" I'm like, "You're 31. How old are you? 31." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "You have a girlfriend?" I'm like, "No, I'm just living life." He goes, "Okay, like, I'm worried. I'm kind of concerned." I think he said it in a half kidding, half serious. But I'm like, what are you concerned about? I'm having a good life. I'm mentally, I'm like better than I've been. I'm doing well. I graduated college. What's this rush of having kids? Like, I get that too. I can't imagine for a woman who maybe want to postpone it, but I'm sure at their age they're having kids like when they're young and everything. But like, personally, for me, not speaking for anyone else, I just don't want kids at the moment or in general, really. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just feel like oh, you're supposed to repopulate, you're supposed to reproduce. I'm like, for what? Like, shit, honestly, I don't think I can take care of a kid, like, to be honest, because I think I'm still learning. I don't have the best job. What the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah, of course. It's like they expect you to already know what you're doing when you have children. It's like there are a lot of people that have kids that don't know what to do.
Yeah, no.
And you know, it's really annoying because, especially for women, you know, you can be the first to graduate from college with a bachelor's. You can have your youth. You can still go out and do great things. You can do this. You can do that. Whatever milestone you go through, in the eyes of your family members, that's not enough. That's not enough of an achievement for a woman. It's like you need to have a child, you need to get married, and suddenly everyone just loves you. You're in the spotlight, and I'm like, so that's really all it takes. Like, what if I become a doctor? No one cares. If I join the military, no one cares. Like, it's like, cool, like, great, like, awesome, good for you. But when you have a child, it's like, oh my God, it's like the greatest thing in the world. And for me, it's very odd because, you know, it's interesting when you go to university, when you get out of your own home, when you get out of your own community, actually, when you decide to further your education, you open your eyes a little more, you open your mind. Of course, you even open your heart, for Christ's sake. And you realize that the stuff that your family believed in or the stuff that your family did, hey, that's not okay. You know, there's more to life than just being a fucking, you know, housewife. There's more to life than just being a provider for men. It's like, the more we see that, I mean, shit, just take us like a basic psychology test and you'll realize, wow, like, we really need to go back into our communities and just do something about the family dynamic. I mean, I'm not talking about, you know, go out on the street and help everyone out. That's already too late. But if you go back to your own family and tell them, like, hey, some things need to be changed, maybe our own kids or the kids after our kids or our grandkids, they won't have to deal with the stuff that we went through. Where family members just won't accept them because they don't speak the same language or they don't have the same skin color. Or even if that person already has been divorced or they already have a kid, and some families are like, oh, they were already married, that's not okay. And it's like, well, what's wrong with that? But then again, we sometimes have to think about our elders, you know, the people before us. There was no such thing as divorce. You stick with that person no matter how much they beat you, no matter how much they mistreat you. There was no such thing as, you know, contraceptives, you know, no birth control. You know, you would have a great-grandparent that would have like 10 kids. They had, what we have now is something that they never had before or even thought about. So, you know, it's hard for them to understand what we're going through now. You know, so that's why, you know, with my husband's family, I've been very patient and understanding. I mean, for me, I know I can be a little bit racist myself because that's usually a lot of the Mexican community. I'm not going to speak for other Latin American countries, but we're pretty fucking racist. And if I can make fun of my husband, he can make fun of me. And I just try not to take things so serious. You know? But then, you know, the thought of having a child is when, you know, things come into play. It's like when they write down their information, are they going to identify as Chinese or Mexican? Are they going to be more comfortable speaking Spanish or Cantonese? You know, maybe the family would want them to be raised some way. Then my family wants them to be raised a certain way. And, you know, I feel like I will butt heads even more. Especially when it comes to my own child that is non-existent right now. But I can totally see that.
I mean, you know, it's if and when you're ready. I mean, it's interesting you say that too because it's a woman's body. It's them that's doing the labor, mentally, physically.
Yeah.
You know what? The guys are like, okay, you want some chocolate? Like, fuck, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Here's a baby.
Yeah, you know, here's a baby. Let me just, you know. But it's definitely on the woman, and like they're the ones that possibly may go through depression afterwards, and
Yes.
a lot of stuff.
Postpartum is a
no one talks
thing.
about it much. I don't hear about it much.
Yeah. So I did take an abnormal psychology class. I believe everyone should fucking take it. The funny thing, my professor mentioned in the beginning of class, don't self-diagnose yourself when you read about certain mental illnesses. But with postpartum, it is a real thing. It can get to a point where a woman can do something very drastic. Like kill their own newborn baby or things like that. You know, with childbirth, you know, after that, you know, a woman can go through depression. It is a real thing. I don't know about it, you know, personally. I don't have any experience with it. But I do know that women need a lot of help with that. They need a lot of attention. And, you know, you would think, oh, she had the baby, so she could totally take care of it herself. She's fine, blah, blah, blah. That's just not the case, you know. They do get into depression and, you know, because they're taking care of this living thing, it's always crying and stuff like that. And that's why, I mean, for me, it's important that the man is involved, like 2,000%. Yeah.
Start with the dog first. Animal.
We have a dog.
Tell me about your dog.
Yeah. So she's a pit bull.
Nice.
My husband got her from a shelter in Camarillo.
Okay.
Camarillo is very popular for having a lot of pit bulls.
Really?
Yes.
I thought it was just outlets.
Oh, well, outlets too. I mean, I kid you not. Every time we go to the outlets, like, straight up, okay, this is where I get a little racist. Straight up Asian tourists, like the fobbiest of, like, straw hats, white shirts, the sneakers, everything, the visors sometimes, like, just big families. They will not even speak a lick of English, not even a hello, but they all love to go to the outlets for some reason.
Oh yeah. Usually, I think a lot of times, I do retail. A lot of people from outside the country, they go there and they just buy a bunch of stuff. And I think like it's a good deal where they go. In their country, it's a lot more expensive. And I think it's a great place because a lot of times they don't buy for themselves; they buy for their family and their relatives and cousins.
Yeah.
So outlet is the great place to do it, and Camarillo is the outlet everyone knows about.
Yeah.
That, but Citadel's fucking far, so you're gonna go to Camarillo.
Definitely Camarillo. But yeah, my husband got her from the Camarillo shelter, and interesting story about her. She was found with another group of dogs from a dog fighting ring thing. Yeah, I don't know the proper term for that kind of activity.
Yeah.
But she wasn't a fighting dog. She was what's considered a bait dog. So basically, you know, when dogs aren't fighting, she would be used as like basically a punching bag.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it was
fuck?
the first time he told me that, I'm like, I'm gonna spoil the fuck out of her. Like, I've been getting her like birthday cakes and treats, and sometimes we give her our own food. But she is a sweetheart.
That's good.
My god.
Also, there is that stigma of pit bulls being like more aggressive, but it's not true.
They're not. I mean,
it's how you raise them.
Well, compared to like German shepherds and all that, they're very tiny dogs.
German shepherds scare me.
Yeah, no, they're canines.
And shit,
yeah, that's why they're canines.
Yeah.
And you know, our pit bull, I mean, she loves everybody.
Yeah.
Only like once or twice she's like barked at a person, but I forgot why. But she's just friendly to anybody, and I'm like, oh my god, I love dogs.
Yeah, you know, whenever I see a German Shepherd, like at the airport in general, I think of all these imaginary drugs I don't have in my pocket. I'm like, oh fuck, like do I have anything just in case like someone put something in there? But yeah, pit bulls are really nice. I think they're adorable. They're great. There's that one video I think like like a pit bull like saved a kid or like a baby. I don't know, but there's a negative stereotype. So with a pit bull, like, is it okay? Are you supposed to feed it like human food, or is that the preferable thing?
Well, my husband is so used to feeding her like her usual like kibbles and things like that. But for me, every time I cook in the morning, like after I cook breakfast, there's like bacon grease left over, so I just like drizzle it over her kibbles because I feel, well, she's like 8 years old now, so I feel that maybe because she's old and she doesn't want to bite as hard as she used to, she just doesn't want to eat hard kibbles.
Right.
So I just like put bacon grease, or I give her chicken, or like every time we go out to get junk food or things like that, we always order like patties on the side and just like give it to her. Yeah.
Nice. I also noticed it's the smaller dogs that are more yappy than the bigger dogs.
I hate small dogs.
Like how small are we talking? Because like Chihuahuas are just like
this small. If it stays this small, I think that's how annoying it gets.
But the bigger they are, they're more chill.
The bigger, the more chill. I love big dogs.
Shibas are happy medium.
They are very happy medium.
I love Shibas. I fucking love Shibas.
They're the best dog ever. Yeah. I want one so bad.
They're so fucking expensive.
Exactly. So I was like, you know what? Whatever dog I never talk about it in front of our dog. But you know, when the time comes and we do decide to get another dog, I wouldn't mind any breed, as long as they're not small.
Yeah. I just thought of something really fucked up. I'll say that after.
Okay.
Yeah, anyways. I think you know where I'm going with that. But no, you know, I think they're just so expensive and they're hard to find. I've seen a few here. I think it's a thing. It's like go to Japan. It's cheaper there, but the plane ticket back and forth.
Yeah.
But
I mean, some find breeders, but then I'm kind of personally against that.
Yeah. You know, remember that movie 101 Dalmatians?
Yes.
You know, you don't see too many Dalmatians.
Mm-mm.
You know what?
Why?
Well, I asked someone. They said that like Dalmatians in general are more prone to diseases and like diseases and like a lot of just like abnormalities in most other dogs. Because think about it. How many have you seen in your life?
I've only seen like one or
outside
two.
the movie.
Like one or two.
Yeah. I've never. I mean, well, I've seen like maybe I'm implementing a false memory, but I can't remember last time I saw a Dalmatian. I think that's why.
I see a lot of Huskies. There's a lot of them.
Also, too, I think it's because inbreeding.
Oh, of course.
Isn't that like? That's so. Even in like the animal kingdom, you can't breed like a brother and his. The fuck, like.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is very.
That's
odd,
weird.
But
I don't know. People are so like, oh, I want the pure breed. Well, who gives a fuck? Like.
Yeah.
That's some weird like. Racist doggish racist shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. So other than dim sum, like what other Chinese food do you like to eat?
Other Chinese food. Oh. Lobster noodle is my shit.
Where do you get that?
Lobster noodle. Okay, so here's the thing. Every time like we do go down to like West Covina and Alhambra. Most of the restaurants are in like Chinese or Cantonese, so I can't really read all that. And even when they do have like the restaurant in English, I forget to like write it down or put it on my phone. But they're usually like those like seafood restaurants because it's lobster. But that shit is delicious.
I gotta try it.
Oh my god! Like just thinking about it.
It sounds really good.
Oh man!
Especially for this weather.
It's perfect for any weather. I remember going when it was hot and when it was cold, and I mean it's for one of those like special occasions.
Oh, is it?
But with me, I kind of made it like, hey, can we just go because we haven't had it for a month, kind of thing. So, so there's that. I definitely love lobster noodle. I totally appreciate like Chinese New Year, the Lunar Year, and all that stuff. I try my best to kind of brighten certain traditions that he knows about. He's not very festive himself. Here's the main difference that I've noticed from my culture and my family and his culture and his family. For one, on his side of the family, there are 0 kids.
What?
No one's having kids.
What? I thought the whole Having kids, really?
Yeah, it's funny, which is why he's kind of having that pressure because there are 0 kids. You know, if we're talking about the family that he has in the States, there are no kids.
Is he the only one in his generation?
No. Surprisingly, like he does have his cousins. They're all like in their late 20s, around our age.
Oh.
But they're doing their own thing. Like they're focusing on their career. One's doing nursing, the other one's doing animation. I forgot the other one. Yeah.
What the parents think of that?
That's a funny story in itself. You know, they're not having kids, so I don't know what's going on with them, but I know his aunts are definitely pressuring him to have kids. There are no kids. Now, with my family, there's always going to be a damn child running around. A child or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so many kids. I remember when we went to visit my sisters in Utah. They all live in Utah. Most of my dad's side of the family lives there.
Mm-hmm.
And just when we go into that, like, their house, like, he sees kids running around, babies crying, and he's like, whoa, what's all this? What are these little people doing here, you know? But, you know, he was having the time of his life, and, you know, kids making a mess and things like that, but that's always fun, you know. Kids want to go out, they want to do something active. But it's definitely a huge culture shock. So with us, it's like we like to make a nice little occasion out of things. You know, someone graduated, someone got divorced. Hey, let's have a party, right?
Divorce party?
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, like someone died, let's have a party later in their memory. And I know that with some Asian families, from what I've realized, it's like it's more serious, it's more formal. That I completely respect.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
you know, I'm
That's
not
the
gonna go
culture.
in like, hey, like let's like make this into a big fucking fiesta, you know, get lit all up in Lunar Year.
Yeah.
But you know, I totally respect what they do. But at the same time, it's like, yo, like, let's liven this up a little bit, because that's where I come from. And, you know, our belief is as long as you keep dancing, as long as you keep partying, you will always be young. I have a lot of relatives that live past 100.
Wow.
So I mean, from my mom's side, we're all a family of dancers or boxers, from what she said. Yeah, funny thing. And, you know, like, recently I realized, like, hey, you know, I gotta make a print on this family, well, my husband's side of the family, and, you know, try to liven it up just a little bit, like, just turn a little bit. Yeah. And, well, because he's a guy, again, not to be racist, well, not to be sexist, you know, he's not a man of detail, he's not a man of creativity. And for one of his aunt's birthdays, I told him, hey, let's go get her some flowers. I'm like, what colors does she like, or what does she like? He's like, I don't know. I never asked. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. These women have been taking care of you for your whole life. Like, do something about it. And I'm like, you know what, let's just get them flowers. And a shout out. So I go to that flower shop down on Reseda. Reseda. And
by Chase? Reseda
yeah,
Chase?
kind of Reseda and Chase. Oh my God, I forgot what the flower shop is called.
I know what you're talking about.
I think it's like Alex's Flowers or something. Allen's Flowers. Yeah. Allen's. Okay, Allen's Flowers. I always go there because they have an amazing selection of flowers, and so I picked my own flowers and be like, okay, maybe she'll like it.
Right.
And oh my God, I'm so gonna be racial about this again.
No, you're fine.
You know, usually a lot of Asian adults, parents, especially fathers, they tend to not show a lot of emotion on their faces.
That's not racial at all. That's just a fact.
Okay, good, because I know how people are like, oh, this is offensive. No, I'm like, yo, that's fact.
Culture. No,
it happens. You know, if you've been around Asians long enough, you'll know.
I think it'd be racist if you're not around Asians, but from what we've talked about, from how I know you've been around a lot of Asians, so you can say this because you've been around. I mean, your husband is Chinese.
Yeah.
How can you be racist?
Yeah.
You're observing.
Okay, yeah, I'm very observant. So, I was concerned because, you know, his family tends to not be so expressive. I mean, they're only expressive when they're gossiping. I mean, all the Asian aunts have to gossip.
Which aunts don't?
All of them.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so worried because if I give her flowers, she's going to be like, oh, thank you. And I'm going to be like, smile. Please smile. Because again, like from my side of the family, expressions are everything.
Yeah, of course.
Like we will let you know if we like you or not, or if we're having a good time, right? And so we go, and so I tell my husband, okay, I want you to, wait, did I tell him to give her? No. Okay, so it was her birthday, and it was his mom's birthday as well. We also got her flowers. And so I was like, okay, I'll give the flowers to her. And I was like, oh, here, happy birthday. And she was like, oh my God, they're so pretty, and they smell so nice. I'm going to put them on the table, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, what just happened here? Wow, that's amazing. And I was like, you know what, if we continue to do things like that, then, you know, kind of brings more liveliness to just, I'd say to any family. I wouldn't say to just his family, but just any family.
I mean, I guess some families are more serious, but damn, I know for a fact Mexicans and Filipino families, they fucking party. They go hard.
Yeah.
They go fucking hard in the paint, like taking shots. I mean, like in a good way. They're celebrating life, they're celebrating things, but like, dude, like, shit gets turned up. Like, I don't know about quinceañera, but like, I mean, shit gets turned up in general. Like, we're just a very festive culture. I mean, maybe I don't know how Spaniards are, but like, dude, we turn up. Like, it's no joke. Like, I've seen family members give underage kids alcohol at an early age, so they know how to handle themselves.
I remember that. I think I had an older cousin that was like, here, try this, and I'm like, ew, it's gross. What is like? I thought it was gonna be soda or something, or you know, like as a kid you like to mix like soda, Hawaiian Punch, and Coke and Dr. Pepper. Yeah, like, you know, I thought it was gonna be that, and I'm like, yo, like, why does it taste like legit alcohol, like rubbing alcohol? And it's like, oh no, it's vodka or whatever. I don't remember, but I was a little kid, and I was like,
how old were you?
Dude, I think I was like 10.
In Europe, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and all the aunts and uncles were drunk as fuck. Yeah. No one gave a damn. No. They weren't even at like the tables in the backyard. They were just all around, standing, talking shit. And, you know, there were like beer bottles and like liquor bottles just sitting around on those empty tables. And it's like any kid could just grab it and be like, oh, okay. Or take it with them.
Do you remember your first time drinking?
My first time drinking. Okay, so my first time drinking. Oh God, these were my hoe days, and I can't believe I'm.
No. Your first time drinking was when you were 10 years old.
Oh! I thought we were talking about college.
No.
Okay. When I was 10 years old, that was my first time, and I didn't continue until like I got to college, where I was a little more comfortable because I'd be with people my own age.
10 years old is.
Yeah, it's young, but I would not be surprised that someone would drink so early.
I mean, when I remember my first time drinking was with my uncles and my mom. I was at a party, and my uncle was, you want a beer? I'm like, yeah. My mom's like, no, he's not 21. I was like, so what? Who cares? He's like, and they always said, like, I'd rather you learn how to drink with us now. You can drink with us, that's fine. We can take care of you. Better than going off, drinking with your friends. They don't know how to take care of you. You're throwing up. They're driving. You get a DUI. They're like, just drink with us. I mean, I got fucked up off one beer. I was not happy.
That is some uncle-ass wisdom right there. I love that.
But, like, there's, like, you know, and then at parties, you know, like, my cousins are getting older, and some are underage. They drink, and, like, they're responsible, at least at the party.
Yeah, they're with family, too.
It's like,
they
you know
what to do,
So that's why I wanted to ask, because, again, like,
Filipino, like that.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. The Filipino Mexican culture is like, you know, very party lively, going responsible, but you know, when it's a celebration, when it's, you know, wedding, someone graduated or whatever, like, dude, and it's so funny when members of the family bring non-Filipinos or non-Mexicans, and they're not used to how fucking people turn up. They're like, what the fuck is this? No, take a shot. Like, oh, take a shot. So my family does not do this.
And there's always a plate of food right in front of you.
Yeah.
And if someone sees that you even have like half of what's on your plate, they're like, here.
Yeah.
Here, you need to eat more.
Keep
you need to eat
eating.
more.
And then if you don't, and if you say no, they get offended, like, oh, what's wrong with my cooking?
I should know that. I should know that because I don't eat that much,
Okay.
and I would just take like little bits of food, and they'd be like, "That's not enough. Put more plate on your food." I'm like, "No, thank you."
I remember when I was 2009, I told them I went vegan. My family was like, "What the fuck? Like, you don't eat our food?"
That's
like,
a sin.
Yeah,
That's a sin
they're
to
like,
them.
"So is my food not good?" No, I just don't want to eat animal food. Why not? It's protein. Like, eat it. And I caved just because out of like a respect, dude. You know,
Yeah.
I sure like overall you shouldn't be killing. I mean, do whatever, but theoretically you shouldn't kill for animals. There's sustainable food, but there's a hierarchy. Like, I can go vegan, but my grandma makes me food. I'm not gonna turn that down.
Yeah,
you sound like a dick, dude. Like,
yeah, with your grandma.
yeah, like you don't like my cooking? No. Well, I'll eat it. Like, I do that now. Like, I don't really buy much meat, but when she brings me food, fucking drive. She lives down the street, but like drives and gives me food. I'm eating that shit. It's so good.
Yeah, the guilt is strong with us.
Yeah, but it's just out of respect. Like, yo, eat the fucking
course.
plate, man. Like,
Yeah.
so.
It's important.
I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No. We can talk about the marriage part. So
Okay.
I forgot. Okay, so the marriage part, like, you didn't go the traditional. You and your husband didn't go the traditional church. Husband, invite a bunch of people, spend a shit ton of money. You went the civil route, which I see a lot more people in our generation doing. Talk to us about it.
Interesting thing about that. Before that, I actually have had a few friends. I mean, I've seen them through social media mostly because, everyone has moved away. Like, I've seen friends that live in Germany and Japan now. Some still live in, like, Palmdale or Lancaster. But that's fine.
I love Palmdale.
I know, but they hate it. And interesting enough, some of my peers, they do the full out, wedding dress, the whole 9 yards. They do the invitations. They invite a shit ton of people, and I mean they've done it from like beach weddings to Disneyland weddings. Like, that's the extreme for me. And they do like their engagement photos and all this extravagant shit. And I mean, bless them if they can afford it. If their parents pay for it, that's great. And then I've had friends where they're like, they kept it hush hush from their families and got married by the court, and no one ever knew about it, not even their close friends. They just married secret. And I mean, it wasn't like they were in like bad terms with family or friends. They just wanted that to be within themselves. That I totally understand. So, thinking that with this generation, weddings are dying or things like that, I don't really think so. I think it's more like, hey, like there are different approaches to weddings, because I never thought a Disney wedding could be a thing.
Yeah.
But it's a thing, and when I looked at the cost, it's fucking ridiculous. Just to have like Mickey Mouse or any Disney character to show up at your wedding, you have to pay like $500 to $600 or some shit like that. And I'm like, no. I want to save up for something. But if you and your partner have both STEM careers, fucking go all out. Invite, I don't know, Keanu Reeves to your fucking wedding. Who cares, right? But for me and my husband, it was more of like a mutual agreement. We've thought about it, and we would keep it kind of secret. But what we didn't keep secret was that, hey, we're getting engaged. We told my mom. I told my mom first. She was totally happy about it. We cried and all that. And then it was more or less at the same time. We told his mom, and then we told his aunts. They were very happy about it and things like that. They seemed happy about it.
Right.
And like his mom was fully supportive. And after that, she like reached into a drawer in her room, and she had like this like red little bag with like yellow stitchings on it, and she's like, look, like, I have this little like piece of, I forgot what the name of the gem or whatever it's called. It was like this like yellow gem. And she was like, I want you to have this, so that way you can wear it as a ring when you guys get married. And I was like, oh my god, this is fucking adorable. Like, that's really cute. It's like she's been saving it for when her sons get married, because he has a brother as well. And I thought that was pretty cute. But the thing is, it's like, he is in the military. He's Navy, and he's going to be on deployment soon. So when it comes to marital status in the military, when you're married, it's pretty important than when you're single. According to the military, once you're married, you get paid a little more, things are a little different. And we were like, well, if we really wanted a wedding, we would have to save up for a really long time. And, we wanted to invest more in traveling and vacations and doing a bunch of different things before we even think about having a child.
Yeah.
And we were like, maybe a wedding's not such a good idea, or a big one at that. So we decided to get married by the court. For anyone that wants to get married by the court, obviously you have to. You do pay a fee for yourself and your partner, and then there's a separate fee for the ceremony and things like that. You could definitely look it up at your local courthouse. I announced it on social media, kind of. I just put it as a profile picture.
Yeah.
And then people were like, oh my gosh, you're married, blah, blah, blah. And of course, news travels fast. Families found out. I got texts and calls, and they're like, you're married? And I'm like, yeah. And then some were like, congrats. And then others were like, why didn't you tell us? Like, why did you keep it a secret? Like, that's kind of what made me like decide, hey, maybe I don't want a wedding after all, because we were thinking about, hey, let's do a wedding after that. It's like, it's between us and things like that. But then we forget that no matter how we are as individuals, our families will not be so accepting.
Right.
My family knows that I keep to myself. Like, I hate sounding like a 2007 MySpace emo chick.
Hey.
I am my own person. I'm an individual. I'm very unique. And I just don't like to involve so many people. Like, that's just not how I'm not into big parties. I mean, you mentioned like quinceañeras. For my 15th birthday, I just wanted to go to Disneyland. That's it. I don't want to be around a whole bunch of people. So I was like, okay, if this is going to be such an issue now, I don't think I ever want a wedding. So we talked about it and was like, yeah, I'm not having a wedding, because I know people are going to want to invite themselves.
Yeah.
They're going to want things a certain way. I have to worry about catering. And that's just something I just don't want to think about anymore. And, next time, a family member does ask, like, hey, when's the wedding? It's like, I'm going to be like, I don't know what to tell them now, because there won't be any wedding. And I was like, you know what? Either way, like, whether they're accepting or not, who cares? Like,
it's between you guys.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we have to deal with each other every day. All the decisions that we make only affect us directly.
Right.
Really, whether we move out or I get a new job or something happens with his job, it's only going to affect us directly. I mean, the only thing would be distance, because, again, he's in the military and we could be moving somewhere else the next year, the year after that. And, with married life, it really is a lot of growing up and really working as a team. So it's really a lot of hard work. And, speaking of hard work, when we did that paperwork at the court, that didn't stop there. I had to go to the DMV to change my last name, because I decided, hey, maybe I do want to change my last name. It makes filling out paperwork a lot easier. So my maiden name was Ramirez, and it got changed to Lee. That's the most Asian fucking last name you will ever. Yeah, most Asian fucking last name you can ever hear. And so I had to go to the DMV, and they tell me, oh, we just need all this paperwork, blah, blah, blah. We need your marriage certificate. We need this, we need that. And I'm like, great, now I gotta go back. No, they needed my social security card. I'm like, shit, now I need to go to the social security office and change my last name, but I have to wait like 8 weeks or some shit like that. And I'm like, crap, I just want to get this done. And then changing with my health insurance, I gotta have my last name changed and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just putting myself through this hell because I just wanted to change my last name. Anyone has the liberty to keep their last name, whatever. This is 2019. And that was very stressful because I was doing it on my own, and, my husband's like, oh, I want to help you. And I'm like, no, this is because what sucks about these government buildings or agencies, whatever, is that they open from 8 and they close till 4 on the weekdays. And at that time I had a job. Yeah. So it's like, fuck, how am I going to fit all that in? And it's like trying to take the day off and then making sure that I have enough time to take care of all that stuff. It was very stressful when I have a job. So I guess for anyone that wants to get married, to make sure. That's why people get married in June. Oh my god, that makes so much sense now.
Summer?
Yeah, because summer, it's like no one works during the summer. Or most people don't work during the summer. And people go on vacation, so that kind of makes sense. Okay. Maybe. I don't know. That's just my theory.
Also too, I guess it's nice weather. It's not going to rain on your wedding.
Yeah, that too. People have their reasons and whatnot. But yeah, paperwork was very annoying, but it was, I guess, it's crazy because it's like, yeah, we got married in November, but every time I look at my ID or my credit or my debit card, or even when I get mail, every time I see my name and then his last name next to it, I'm like, holy shit, I'm married. That's pretty fucking cool.
That's
cool.
My
god,
that's awesome.
It's I reached a different level in life, and
congratulations.
Thank you. And it's crazy. You start to realize how important family is, and that was never in my mind before, because it's screw family. I'm a rebel. I don't care. I'll break all barriers. I'll break the cycle. Blah blah blah. But now it's damn, you start thinking about other people, and then eventually you'll start thinking about a child, and it's totally different from dating life. I don't miss dating life at all.
Yeah. Do you feel more connected to your family now that you're married on both sides?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel with my family before, I don't know, I didn't feel as close. But the funny thing is, my husband is a more friendly person. He's very easygoing, so he can get along with anybody. No one will ever hate him. If you harm him, then you are an evil person.
Yeah.
And with me, I'm so defensive, and I'm like a cat. And he's a lot more nicer, and of course I go off on that, and I'm like, okay, I'll be nice too. Or because I tend to be very aggressive, I try to push him to be more aggressive in a lot of things, and he goes off of that too. So we definitely develop each other's mannerisms, even our little codes or talks. We develop a lot of weird shit.
That's it. Who doesn't? That's part of it.
Yeah. And the thing with marriage, people think it's this romantic fairy tale lovey-dovey.
It's not?
Thing. It's not.
No.
It's not.
That's me being sarcastic.
Oh, okay. It gets real. It gets real quick.
Yeah.
Because not only are they your loving partner, they're your best friend, they're your homie, they're your ride or die, and eventually, yes, they do become your family. I can go into specifics, but let's just say we're basically bros, and we just we act like how guys act with each other, they fart on each other and all that stuff. It just we just get so comfortable.
That's good.
And it's crazy because it's you reach that level of comfort that you'll never reach with your family or even your best friend or even someone that you dated before. It's like you get so comfortable with them. It's like they are basically like your own family. Like you created that. And it's like, you know, the kind of stuff that you say to your partner, you obviously can't say it to your mom or your grandma. You obviously can't express yourself a certain way with your best friend like you do with your partner. So it's like you are literally you. And you know, it's like we're humans. We're an open book, and you know, when you're dating, you open that book, you think, oh, it's gonna be like this romantic novel and things like that. But when you're married, it's like it's not just a novel; it's a fucking biology book, and you get to see all the insides of a human being and see how fucking nasty we are. And you know, do you want to keep reading? Do you want to keep enjoying this book, or open another book? But guess what? That person's also disgusting. So you got to find out what nasty ass person you want to continue being with. And
that's a good perspective.
That's really how it is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think we covered everything.
I think we did. I mean, I guess like advice wise. We dated for 2 years.
That's good.
I mean, he wanted to get married a little sooner. I wanted to wait.
That's good to wait.
You know, we didn't meet on an online dating site.
In person?
So we did meet in person. I did rent a room from him, and funny enough,
Wait, that was your landlord?
Yeah.
What?
I did not do anything dirty just to pay rent every month.
No, I never. That's interesting.
Because funny thing, people would assume that. Every time I tell that story, they say
they watch too much Pornhub.
Yeah, they watch way too much Pornhub. And funny thing is, he was married at the time.
What?
I did have a little bit of crush on him, but then I was like, yo, he's married. Like I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, forget about it. And then I moved back to Northridge, went back to school, and totally forgot about him. And he, like, I was already dating a guy. He was already getting on my nerves, and you know, he adds me on Facebook, and I'm like, yo, it's this dude. Like, I totally forgot all about him. And then I slid in his DMs, and I'm like, hey, nice. What's up? How you doing? How are you? And so and so, and he was like, oh yeah, we're not together anymore.
Green light.
He was like, yeah, we're actually going through divorce, blah, blah, blah. The thing with divorce, I know I talked about marriage. With divorce is it takes like 6 months or something to finalize it, and it can get very nasty. I know marriage seems like a beautiful thing. Divorce is like a freaking mess. It's like someone will try to take something out of someone. So it's like, it's horrible. And I mean, I didn't know about it firsthand because, college age, you don't hear about someone getting a divorce from your age group. So it's totally different. For me, it was new. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry for you because I was trying to be nice about it. And then I was like, fuck, this is my chance. I gotta go and hit it. I want to jump on that, And, with the guy I was dating, I was like, deuces, go bye-bye. And I was like, hey, we're both like, hey, we should hang out and see what's up, right?
That's how it started, okay.
And he did confess to me, that's why he, reached out to me on Facebook and all that, because, after the divorce, because he was coming back from deployment, he was like, hey, let's hang out once I come back and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. And funny enough, our first date was at Gen Barbecue down on Reseda.
Wow.
That was our first date.
That's awesome. That's not a bad place.
It's not.
It's roomy, it's spacious. Other Korean barbecue places are compact.
It's like, you know what? Let's see how we are when we pig out. Because, it's Gen Barbecue. It's like, that's where you put your eating pants on.
Yeah.
AKA sweats. And, we did hit it off. And
that's great.
Yeah. It surprises me the most that he's willing to, go at it again with the whole marriage thing. Because he went through a nasty divorce. And for me, it's like, I've been in the dating game for so fucking long.
Yeah.
And every guy that I date, I'd be like, I'm done. I'm just gonna go gay. I'm done. But it's like,
That's good.
right at the corner. Like life just like
Mhm.
throws a fast one on you. Like, oh shit, there's an
That's-
opportunity.
So he had like a house and you're renting from there?
Yeah, I was renting from there.
That's
yeah.
cool. Is it out here?
No, back in Oxnard.
That's so like I've never heard of that story before. Where like
Yeah.
that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Do you have a nice house? That's cool.
It's
a room.
nice.
It's a room.
It's a nice house. Unfortunately, there's no backyard. But who are we to complain? But it
That's
is a
cool.
nice house. Yeah.
Wow. Sounds like a cool guy.
He is
Sounds very cool
he's
guy.
a very chill
Yeah,
guy, surprisingly.
Yeah, man. Jen Barbecue. That's cool.
Yeah.
Have you guys been back there since? Like a sentimental thing?
No, we have not.
You should.
Well, we plan on going
You
back,
should.
but because he converted me to, the dim sum life,
Right.
I'm like, I don't really want Korean barbecue.
Korean barbecue is great. It's great
No, yeah, it's
in small
amazing.
portions.
I
You
love
can't
it.
have it all the time.
Yeah.
People have like, how are you gonna have it like all the time? You're not gonna really
Mm-hmm.
take care of yourself that well.
Yeah, my body can't handle too much Korean barbecue.
Dude, you get like meat sweats and shit. I haven't been in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Dude, it's gnarly. I mean, it's good, but you can't have it all the time.
I mean, there's those like nice Korean barbecue places here that they just give you like the little fish and like the little kimchi, like the little plates and
Okay.
stuff. I don't mind that. Like, it doesn't have to be like full on all you can eat.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think we should go back there.
You should. Just to, Yeah.
have like a little.
And dim sum is nice because it's, you can control your proportions, not all you can eat. Because when it's all you can eat, you want to eat as much as you can.
Yeah.
And this one's nice portions,
Yeah,
so.
and then you can like share it with people
Mhm.
and things like that. But yeah, I mean, with him, I did learn a lot. So, for I'd say for people my age or his age, or well, just around.
Is there a big age difference between you two?
I mean, I'm 27 and he's 30.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Not so much. He sometimes forget that I'm 27. He thinks I'm older than I'm his age. I forget that he's older than me. So we're pretty much on the same level of maturity almost. But the one thing that I notice with people that go through like a divorce, especially like millennial age, I noticed that millennial age is like mid 30s.
Yeah, no, it's not like.
Yeah, like we're not that young at all.
No.
I guess I would say it's like not give up, but at the same time, like, every experience is a lesson, so it's like don't rush into things and try to figure that person out, sadly stuff does happen. People do lie, people do cheat, unfortunately, and sometimes you do gotta take a chance.
Yeah.
You gotta give life a chance.
Yeah.
And the thought of getting married was really scary for me because again I've never been through it, and even then, with some Latino families, marriage and infidelity kind of go in the same experience. I mean,
I've heard
come from a father that was married, but he wasn't around.
Yeah.
And I've had uncles where every family reunion he has a different wife.
I've heard stories where this is not just particular to Latino, but like ones I've heard were like he has a family, like a dude has a family here, has a family in Mexico. Like they go back.
Yeah.
But I never, or like it happens too in different cultures. In my culture, may or may not have a family member that potentially has that done. And like it's, I don't know, like is it like sometimes like the women accept it? It's kind of like sometimes they don't. It's really tough.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up.
Yeah, and like growing up with that, it's like you only see the bad examples, and again, back to psychology. How your childhood is so important. How you experience things as a child really leaves an imprint on you when you become an adult.
That's true.
Because for me, I was just afraid of having a committed relationship because I come from that. And it's like, when I get married, is that going to happen to me? And it's like, am I suddenly going to find out that my partner had a secret family or something like that? I was super terrified. But the fact that me and my partner, we just jumped into it. We were like, you know what? those are past and
That's
those are
good.
experiences. So it's like we shouldn't let anything scare us
good.
so much.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad seeing a lot of people around our age that, they do believe in marriage. They do want to commit. And even if they don't want to get married, like, that's fine too. They want to commit for a long time, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm glad seeing a lot of people that just want to settle down. And, like, just recently, like, 2 of my closest friends from CSUN just got engaged, and he proposed to her on the Eiffel Tower.
What?
Yeah, I was like, I'm so happy. Like, oh, you know how happy I am, because they're like my closest, bestest friends from college.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could say the older generation or just the media would say, oh yeah, millennials aren't as creative, they don't care anymore because of technology and all that. We're so lazy. And it's like, yo, my homie, like, surprised his girlfriend by proposing to her on the Eiffel Tower. Like, she was even surprised. Like, I was surprised because, he's the kind of guy that just plays video games, is whatever, doesn't do much about his wardrobe, like
Maybe he makes money off the video games.
Yeah, probably. I don't know what he does.
Yeah.
And, the fact that he does that, I was like, wow, there is hope out there. Men are really romantic, and,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that exists.
My response to older people who say millennials are this, millennials are that. Who the fuck raised millennials? That's right, you.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Thank you very much for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Voncast show. Thanks for telling us your experiences, and I wish you luck and your partner. And it's really nice hearing these stories.
Yeah.
So.